Hey guys, it's Elle. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am here with my March wrap up. So I am actually filming this on March 30th because the weekend is the only time that I can film, but I feel like I might finish two other books at the moment. I'm currently reading The Nanny is Off Limits by Q.B. Tyler. This is a single dad nanny romance. So good, really enjoying it, and it has a pretty big age gap, 18-year age gap. This is an e-arc that I'm reading. It's coming out April 3rd. Loving it. And then I'm also listening to Fatal Prisoners. This is by Elle Thorpe. It is the third and final book in her plated prisoner series, or prisoner series. It's a Why Choose romance series. It's really good. I'm listening to it on audio. So I read about 9 books in March so far, and I think with those it would make it 11, but I don't know, March was just kind of a hard month for me. I read some longer books and I feel like I just struggled a little bit reading physically. Personally, I had a lot of stuff going on, some traveling things happened. So it was just a lot, and I feel like I definitely could have read more. So April is going to be my month for sure. But I did read some pretty amazing books in March, and I'm super excited to chat about them with you. But the first one that I read is The Demon by, I can't remember the author's name, Janika Snow. This is a part of her monster novella series, and I really enjoyed all of them except this one. I did not love this one. The first one is like a Beauty and the Beast retelling. It was so good. Second one was a Red Riding Hood one with a wolf, and that was really fun. And then the third one was a Goldilocks Why Choose with the 3 bears. And then this one didn't really have a plot line of fairy tale kind of thing. It was just he was a demon, and she walked into his cave and he's like, "You're mine." And I'm like, okay. I don't know, I just didn't feel the connection like the other books that I really enjoyed. So I ended up giving this one about 3 stars. It was okay. It wasn't amazing. My expectations are already lower with novellas just because they're not full-length books, but I still really enjoy reading them. And but this one just was not a favorite. Did not love it. Didn't really love the spice. It was just okay. Then I listened to The Locked Up Liars by Elle Thorpe. This is the second book, I think, in her St. View prisoner series. I don't know why I called it Plated Prisoner series, but this is a really fun Why Choose romance series where one of the heroes was sentenced to prison because he was suspected to have murdered the heroine's sister, and he is now in prison. And the heroine is a teacher, and she decides to go work in the prison as a teacher there to kind of get some information from that hero, because she doesn't believe that he killed her sister. And she ends up falling for him and a prison guard of the prison, and then the lawyer of the hero that's in prison. So it's really fun. It's very suspensey. A lot of things at play here. We still don't know the killer of her sister, but it's really fun. And I think I gave this one 4.5 stars. It was really good. The whole series is on Hoopla, so I've just been binging all of the books on Hoopla, and it's just really fantastic. Then I have Bourbon and Secrets by Victoria Wilder. I read this on my Kindle and just loved it so much. It was so good. So this one, our heroine, she is a burlesque dancer, and she's coming back to town after kind of being told by the hero to get out of town because he just felt like she had some danger around her. And he's like, "You can't be here right now." So she did leave town for a couple of years. Now she's back because she is a private investigator, and she's going undercover as a burlesque dancer to try to get intel on one of the clients of the dance club. And the hero, he is a single dad living in the small town. He's one of the Bourbon brothers. And he just still has so many feelings for her because they kind of had a moment when she left town. But he is a dad, and he just feels this pull you know, I don't want to fall for her. And there's this curse that kind of follows their family around where every woman in the family dies that they marry. And so he's scared of losing her and doesn't want to have a relationship with her because of that, but then there's so much tension and chemistry between them, and it is so good. Like, I ate this book up. It was so good. 5 stars, amazing. I really love the suspense element with kind of figuring out why she left town originally, but then who she's trying to investigate. And I just love the whole like burlesque dancer thing. It was really fun. And I loved his daughters. They were just so cute. And I loved like them being neighbors, the heroine and him and his daughters. It was just hilarious. And they're just so cute. Like, they're probably one of my favorite kids in like a romance book. They were just so hilarious. Like, they literally bought a cow and a dog behind their dad's back because they just like wanted an animal. It was just so funny. But this is set in Kentucky on a bourbon distillery farm, and it's a lot of fun. I love this series and cannot wait for the next book. Then I listened to probably one of my favorite romances of the year, which is Wild Side. I listened to this on audio on release day, and this book, oh my God, this has become a new top tier book from Elsie Silver. Seriously, like the emotion, the tension, the angst in this book, amazing. Top tier, God tier for me. So good. So this one we follow Tabitha, who recently lost her sister, and her sister had a son, which is her nephew, and she is just kind of like at a loss for words right now. Like, she doesn't really know how to cope, how to grieve at the moment, and she actually finds out that her sister gave full custody of her son to their neighbor. And the heroine and the hero, who is the neighbor, Reese, really did not get off on a great start because when they first met, they just didn't get along, and she kind of had some biases against him, and he had the same thing against her. And so she is just so pissed finding out that he has custody of her nephew, and she's like, what the heck? And so they end up entering into a marriage of convenience because she still wants custody of her nephew, but he is an American citizen and they live in Canada. So he would need to get like citizenship or take Milo, the nephew, with him. And she's like, that's not gonna work. So they end up entering a marriage of convenience. And it is so good because they're both grieving the death of her sister and trying to parent Milo, and he's like 5, I think, or 3 or 5. And I just love this one. Like, all of the emotions was just so good. Reese is like a new favorite hero, I think. Like, he was just so patient and loving, and he's definitely has walls up. He's definitely closed off, but they kind of work through both of their problems together, and I just loved it so much. 5 stars, so good. Then I finally decided to pick up The Women by Kristen Hanna. I read this and loved it so much. This is a historical fiction based on women's role during the Vietnam War, specifically combat nurses, and we follow our main protagonist, Frankie, who kind of has like no idea what's going on in Vietnam at the moment. Her brother is in Vietnam. He's a soldier, and she kind of comes from a wealthy family in California, and she's kind of like, oh, like, you know, I want to serve too, and I want to get back to my country. And when she gets over to Vietnam, she kind of thought it was, you know, scenic and pretty. Like, there's obviously a war going on, but it's not that bad. But when she gets there, she realizes, like, oh my God, like, this is hell, basically. Like, this is nothing like what I thought it would be. And so we follow her story of going to Vietnam and then coming back and being a veteran, but she's not really treated like a veteran because she is not like recognized for her service, and it's just like insane. And there's just so many like misogynistic things that happen in this book, so many heartbreaking things that happen in her personal life, and it is just devastating. It's so good, but just so devastating. Like, at every turn, like, something bad is happening, and you're just like, I just want her to find peace and to finally be at peace with what happened. And it's just such a beautiful story. I loved it so much. So good. Top read of the year. 5 stars. Just absolutely amazing. Then I picked up one of my most anticipated reads of the year, which was Beautiful Exile by Catherine Cowles. I actually received an e-arc of this book to read and review, and I just love this so much. It was amazing. It was just so good. it was just top tier. So in this one, we follow our heroine who, she just has a traumatic past of like, she just has a traumatic past, and especially with like her upbringing, growing up, and both of her parents died, and that's how she came to I forgot what their last name is, but this family that we follow throughout the whole book. And she just feels like really closed off from kind of people in her life because of just trying to protect herself. And the hero, he is a billionaire and he owns like the hockey team that her brother is on. And he comes to the small town to kind of get away from big city life and also to start building a house there for himself. And they kind of start like hanging out around each other, because I think he's staying like at her brother's like house that's like right by her, and they just kind of keep running into each other and they don't like each other, but it's just like so good. And like, I don't know how to describe this book other than it's just like amazing. And they kind of start forming a connection and hanging out more and more, and we have some suspense with the heroine's past, with like who killed her parents, and she's also an artist, and I just love this book so much. It was so good. Like, I loved her being an artist, and we got to see those moments of her painting, and then she needs someone to stay with her because of the suspense happening in the book, and then the hero volunteers to do that, and they have these beautiful moments together, like horseback riding, and it's just so good. So good. I love this one. 5 stars. Amazing. I really, really love this series so much. I got the special edition release of this book, where you could get a dust jacket. So it is so stunning. And let me see if I can show it, kind of see it. It has this beautiful dust jacket. I just love it. I got this from Paulina Springs, which I guess is Catherine Cowles' like local indie bookstore, where she has a lot of her stock there, and I think she signs a lot of stuff, and they packaged it so beautifully, and it came in perfect condition. So I'm so happy about that. But that book was so good. Like, highly recommend. And then I picked up, okay, actually I lied. The book that I said was the first book or the second book in the St. Few Prisoner series was actually the first book. I did read the second book also in March, which is Solitary Sinners. I give that one 5 stars. Really enjoyed it. Love the continuation of the series. Each book kind of leaves off on a cliffhanger, so you're just like dying for the next book. This is the Why Choose Romance Prisoner series. So good. Really enjoyed this one. And then I picked up My Silver Lining by Laura Pavlov. This was an e-arc no, it wasn't an e-arc. I listened to this on audio, and I really enjoyed it, but I don't know, like, this series, her new series, Rosewood River series, I just feel like it's not hitting like her Magnolia Falls series and the series before that. Like, I just feel like I'm not enjoying it as much. Like, each of the books just feel like 4 stars for me so far. Like, I read the first book, it was good. This one is a fake dating one, where the heroine, she's kind of this like rich girl and comes to the small town to visit her best friend. And the hero, I think, is a lawyer, or I don't really remember what he does, but they end up teaming up to fake date because she needs to bring a date to her grandfather's like birthday party or something. And so she and him end up fake dating, and they form a relationship, and it was pretty short, but it was good. It was like sweet, and it just felt like very mid-level. I don't know, and I just feel bad about saying that because I love Laura Pavlov and I really do enjoy a lot of her romances, but these ones are just okay. Like, they're good. I enjoy reading them. Like, I love seeing the previous characters, and I really love the small town. I just feel like they're just so sweet, and I'm like, I want something more, like the angst of like her previous series, and I don't know, it's just like good, but it's not like amazing. So I did enjoy this one. I do recommend it. It was good. It was fun because it was kind of a different setting than her normal setting. Like they traveled a little bit, which was fun. And I really loved the family aspect in this one with their group chats are hilarious, and they love to play pickleball together. And I thought that was really cute. So it was good, it just wasn't amazing. Then the last book I read in March was Unloved by Peyton Corinne. I listened to this on audio, and y'all, this book broke me. So emotional, just like so gut-punching. I just loved it so much. Give it 5 stars. If you don't want to read a super emotionally devastating book, don't pick this up right now, but it is so good. So the hero and heroine meet at a college party, and they kind of just have this moment, and it's really sweet, but the hero never remembers it. And he is a really popular guy on campus. He's a hockey player, but he's also dealing with a lot. He has dyslexia, and he is just like failing his classes, and he's had countless tutors, but they're just not working out until he finally gets paired with the heroine, who is a tutor. And she is dealing with her own struggles because she has the most toxic, abusive boyfriend, and he is also a tutor, and she just like can't get herself to unattach herself from him. And that's like the hardest part of this romance, because you're just like, he is so bad, he's horrible, but he just keeps shoving his way into her life, and she can't stop it, and it's just so brutal. And so the hero and heroine keep hanging out more and more. But the thing about these two characters is they're so flawed because they just doubt themselves all the time. They have so much self-doubt, like self-doubting at every single turn. Like, does she like me? Like, am I okay? Like, literally everything. And it's just so heartbreaking because you're like, what did people in your life do to you to make you feel this way, where you just like don't feel confident or loved in yourself? And it's just so like heartbreaking. And it's definitely a slow burn romance, and they work up to being in a relationship, but this one is just so good. And both of the characters ride so hard for each other, and I just loved it so, so much. It's so emotional, so angsty, just so, so good. 5 stars, amazing, top read of the year. Well, that was the last book I wanted to chat about in this video. I feel like March was the mantra of like quality over quantity. Like, I read some really dang quality books, but just didn't read as much as I had hoped to, but that's okay. April is going to be a better month, but I want to know what your favorite read of the month was. I just had so many. I feel like, I don't know, like maybe Beautiful Exile was my favorite, or The Women, or Unloved. Like, all of them are just so good. But I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.